All right, so step one, we can go ahead and take off this safety plate. And that's what I'm talking about in here. You can see where they use contactors instead of relays. You do have a, that looks like a sequencer, but it's not. It's a double stack limit. This is the back section of those old ceramics for those heating coils, and that's your contactor plate that that turns on. Now I did kill the power, but we will go ahead and we'll verify that in here just to make sure, because we're gonna have to take this off anyway. So let's go ahead and let's check all of this. Remember, please be very careful when you're taking off wire nuts and checking power. That's why I like the new style of heat banks a lot better, because they do have those lug style breakers that you'll be able to screw into, and you don't have to take all this off and run wild wires and all that, because sometimes those wild wires can catch you off guard if you're not careful. See if we can get in there with the multimeter. And I'm showing 0, showing 0, showing 0, showing 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, happy with that. So we'll continue down the way here. Like I said, this is going to have to get out the way, so we'll move this one. Get these screws out here. It's just 4 screws that hold these in most of the time. It doesn't matter the brand. Typically 4, sometimes 2, just depends on what you're working on, but this particular one is 4. And yes, I like to use nut drivers over drills. I mean, sometimes taking stuff out with a drill is fine. I just don't like going back with it, because you'll strip out screws, and if you get good at using your nut drivers, it's just as quick anyway. And I've got one little harness to disconnect. Get in there with a little screwdriver. I need some more light. I can't see. There's no much light back here. There it goes. All right, that's out. And that's out. So let's see if we can't. I have to take these wires and push them up. Let's pull this out. Okay, not much to it. Ooh, and there's the old ones. Let's get a light on this. And you can really see how rusted up these are, worn out. This one back here, I believe, is, oh yeah, completely busted. Yeah, so that's why we're changing these out. Okay, we'll grab the new one and see how she slides in. Now, this particular one does not have any type of racking or mounting or sliding components to it. It's just a straight in held by the 4 screws on each corner. Sometimes you'll get some that have a little sleeve or something that to kind of catch and go in with, but this one's pretty straightforward. So go ahead and get her in there. Okay, now we'll go ahead and take these face plates off so we can see what we're doing. guide this thing in there pretty good. Let's take a peek. And get sure your wires are out of the way. And hopefully. Okay, so it looks like we're going to need the extension to cover this corner. That's perfectly fine. Okay. Right here we have a little gap, so I'm going to take the extension off of the old one to fill this gap in right here. So let me grab that. Okay. Let's go ahead. Put in. This little extension plate, we're just going to put it right back in here. And some people wonder why do they have those or whatever. It's just because some heat kits come different size. If you wanted to add more KW or something like that, they're a little bit bigger. The smaller ones don't take up as much room. So I'll put these little plates in here just to fill the gap. One more screw on this. All right. Slide in. Got a much better fit. Okay. Just a hair off, so I don't we go ahead and let's bump it against this screw here. So I think what I'll do is I'll take this ground out and put it on this case. That'll give that some room right there. Yeah, this screw on this ground was giving me a little bit of a fit, so I'm gonna bring it in and put it in here. There's a dedicated ground screw there, so we'll be fine. Let's see, there we go. Oh yeah, perfect fit now. Good, 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 good. All right, let's grab some screws. Let me go grab a couple of ones. Sometimes, not all the time, they'll come with new screws. You'll get these bags that come in there. There's a couple new screws. There's a insulated plate. I'll talk about that. Actually, that insulated plate, that one there, that's a new spacer, but we'll leave it. I'm not too worried about that. I'll take this and use it somewhere else. So we'll grab some fresh screws out of here. And we'll get this thing put in. A little trick on this, sometimes when you put these screws in, don't screw them in all the way right at first. Put them just snug where you can have a little bit of play as you're putting the rest of them in. Or you'll sometimes find yourself in a spot where you're like, oh, put the screw in and the other side fell or this or that. So you just want to kind of get them in place. So they're just loose. Like that. One more. There we go. Alrighty. So I mean, a lot of this stuff out in the field, it's not all that hard to do. This one's nice because I'm able to stand up. It's in an upflow position now. If this would have been in a tight little attic somewhere, laying down, wouldn't have been so much fun. Another thing on these, you want to try to get these nice and up. So you just kind of put your hand down here as a spacer and kind of bump. And you've got wiggle room on each side. That's what they make those little elongated holes for. So we'll go ahead and we'll tighten one corner. We'll tighten this corner. And that's pretty much where I want it. So we'll get the rest of them tight. Hand tight is all you need. You don't need to get in here with an impact driver and all that stuff. Just hand tight's all you need. Okay, so we'll go ahead, relocate this ground. Let's back this out. Okay, so we're set. Nice. Get our power hooked in. Line 1, line 2, it's 220, single phase, so it does not matter. Let's back your lugs out. In there, tighten them up. Now, when it comes to your electrical connections, you want to make sure that you do get those good and tight. Because remember, loose connection will generate excess heat and will burn these terminals. So you want to make sure you get them good and tight. Really get them in there. Really get them in there. Okay. So we're good on all that. We're good on all of that. Oops. There we go. These breakers just kind of just barely set in there. I don't know. They should do a little better job than that, but whatever. And we're set. That's basically it. Oh, connect your. There's a preliminary plug down here. I want to be sure and get that plugged back up. And it does plug up and it does fit. So we're set. That is all that she wrote about putting in a new heat kit. Some are easier than others. This one's really nice because it was in an upflow position, like I said. Now I'm just going to go back, put my covers back on. Show you what it looks like when it's all nice and tight. But I think I showed. Yeah, these relays took the place of those contactors. I personally like the relays over the contactors. They're quieter. They come in a little better. The contactors was a little bit older technology, but they did just fine. But there was some working circuits you had to make sure you had in there and all that other stuff. So we'll get these on. 2 more. And all right, anybody can do it. Pretty simple project. Most heat strips are. It's one of the easier things on a air handler to change out is a set of heat strips. Sometimes you get lucky. It's in a upflow closet like this. Sometimes you got to lay on your belly and crawl way back in an attic. But either way, that's it. I'm just going to cut the power on, run it through a test, and we'll be done. Thank you much.